Hello, Facebook. Hope you guys are having a great evening. I'm pulling up live on Instagram right fast. As you guys jump on, feel free to say hello. Let me know where in the world you are watching from. All right, Instagram is here. Hello, Instagram. Hi, Facebook. All right, guys. Ooh, I've got a nasty bruise on my arm. Jeez. All right, guys. So tonight we are talking all about manifestation from the very, very basics into the nitty-gritty details that can kind of get cloudy if you don't understand the foundation. So, as you guys hop on, let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to spend some time inviting a few friends on Facebook. So give me just a moment. Let's see here. Cool, beautiful. So as you guys hop on, just say hello. I sent out questions earlier today on Facebook and on Instagram asking you guys if you had any questions for tonight's live, and I had a really great one come up. Hi guys, wave as you jump on. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. How are you doing this evening? Say hello. So I'm going to start with the first question that came up today on my Instagram story. And the question was essentially, how do you know where you have influence within your life and where you don't? And I really love this question because I think for anyone who's really, based in science and loves reality and loves being more realistic than optimistic or pessimistic, I think a lot of us can fall into this category of wondering, okay, well, really, how much influence do I have over my life in this specific area, right? So for his question, he was asking, how do you tell the difference between where I have influence and where I do not have influence over in my life? So to kind of elaborate on that, first of all, I want you guys to understand that you are never in a situation where you don't have influence over your life, period. Everything that you are seeing within your reality, everything that you experience is simply the densest reflection of your mind, of your beliefs, of what it is that you truly think to be true for the world, right? Now, let's take that to the extreme and just debunk this a little bit. I'm not saying that if all of us decide tomorrow that gravity doesn't exist, that suddenly gravity doesn't exist. I'm not saying that by any means. But what I am saying, the example I gave on Instagram was, let's say you are a real estate agent and like, hi to my friend, if you're watching this, who's the real estate agent who inspired this. She had mentioned this to me yesterday and she said, it's really hard for me to get leads in this industry and this real estate industry because I don't pay for them. And if you don't pay for your leads, you're SOL, like shit out of luck, sorry. So I highlighted that thought to her and said, do you see how that could be a limiting belief? You're choosing to believe that because you are not paying for leads based off of whether it be statistics or just her past or the reality that she is surrounded by, she's choosing to believe that as a fact and then applying that to how she makes decisions in the future. This is where you have room to influence your reality. You do not have to take the past and base your future off of it. You can look at the past and say, look, okay, so from what I've experienced, it's really hard to get leads on your own if you are not paying for them, right? But if I choose not to believe that, how can I start taking action from a different belief that is then going to prove this new belief correct? That kind of sounds funny. Let me continue to explain. So let's shift out of the idea that it's very hard to get leads without paying for them and into the idea that you are a magnet for your ideal customer, for your ideal client, and that it is so easy for you to get leads because you are so sure about what it is that you're there to do, right? And you can get super logical with it too. If you believe that you're super clear on who it is that you want to work with, then why would it be hard to find them? Why would it be hard for those people to find you? Because the way you're marketing yourself is suddenly going to become so much more accessible and so much more clear to your ideal client. Now we're talking about this in the framework of real estate, just because that's the example I had off the top of my head, but this can be applied to any job, any goal, any marketing strategy. You just have to be super clear on what it is that you want. Basically is how it works. Hi guys, say hello as you jump on. Ask your questions as we go throughout tonight. It's all about manifestation. If you guys are finding that it's hard for you to manifest something, if you're manifesting things that you don't want, give me your stories. Let's work through them together. So back to the real estate story. Hey, hello. Is that Carissa? I think that's Carissa. Hey girl. Cool. So back to the real estate story. Basically, I highlighted that to my friend and told her that if you look at that as a limiting belief and you debunk it and you form a new belief, yes, hi, Carissa, thanks for joining in. I watch your makeup lives all the time, girl. I'm like definitely a prodigy in the making. Cool, but if you shift your belief, you can choose then to see something different in your reality. And I know, hi Lisa, hello. I know that sounds like it can be super fluffy and it sounds kind of woo-woo, but when you guys start to really think about it, ask yourself what is something that you do not believe in, right? Like what's something that, like making $1,000,000, right? Why could you not make $1,000,000? Why do you believe you couldn't? And then ask yourself where that belief came from. And does that have to be true for you? No one chooses, I shouldn't say no one chooses your own beliefs. Typically, what tends to happen is other people throughout our lives tell us what to believe. They choose for us what we're going to believe. And unless we make the conscious decision to step back and then to form a new belief that we want to actually have working with us and working for us, we're going to fall as a victim to these limiting beliefs. I talk a lot about this stuff just because it is so key. Yeah, Lisa said, limiting belief is something I sincerely struggle with, so thank you so much for addressing this. Yeah, girl, absolutely. I think everyone does. At the end of the day, all of our struggles, all of our boundaries, all of the reasons why we cannot succeed at something or overcome a struggle is because of a limiting belief. I truly believe that. So perhaps that's a limiting belief of my own. I mean, God, guys, it could really be like a wormhole of just like spiraling down, unraveling your understanding of the world. But like, we're not going to go that deep tonight. So Lisa, if that's something you struggle with, feel free to share with me something very specific as to what you are struggling with, a very specific belief. Because I know for me, the hardest part about changing a belief is choosing an action that is going to reflect and embody my new belief. Does that make sense? So at the very beginning of this month, I shared a lot of my goals. I shared a lot of the things that I'm working towards this month. And a lot of the hesitation that I got, I'm actually going to try to pull them up here just so I can kind of reference back to that for those of you who have been watching my lives lately. Let me see here. I have so many notes in this thing. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to find it. Okay, here we go. So a limiting belief that I acknowledged that I was facing this month was about making money, which I think is one that a lot of us probably struggle with. We believe that making money is hard. We believe that making money requires a certain amount of input in order to get an equal exchange of exput. But then we have this whole like value thing in our head that says, I'm not worthy, right? So when we're talking about money, I think a lot of us can relate to that. And a limiting belief that I had acknowledged was that I was believing that it was hard to receive money, that I wasn't putting in enough work to receive money. All this feelings of unworthiness were creeping up, right? And so what I do anytime I identify a limiting belief is I forgive the people or the person or the authority figure who maybe exemplified that for me or encouraged that thought in me or gave me that belief from themselves. And then I forgive myself for believing it for as long as I did. So the first limiting belief we'll talk about is the money. And I said, I forgive my mom for telling me to believe money is difficult and stressful to bring in. I forgive myself for believing her. And that can sound kind of cold, guys, but you just need to come up with the words that feel good for you and that allow you to really release that feeling as though that was your truth, if that makes sense. So then after you release that old limiting belief that you are choosing to no longer embody, you want to form a new one. So the new belief that I came up with was, I believe that money flows effortlessly to me when I am rooted in service and guiding women to embody their highest self. I am a money magnet. Women are begging to pay me for my coaching. So, and it totally sounds cocky, but like, it's confidence. And I think there's this huge problem right now where women in particular, I can't speak on men's behalf because I'm not a man, but from the women that I've worked with and from knowing myself, I know I have really shied away from being confident in what I am doing because I don't want to come off as cocky. But there's a difference, and this is confidence. So changing that negative belief into something positive completely removes the boundaries that I was previously putting on myself for receiving money. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So you guys just let me know if you have questions as we go. So now that you have this new belief, here is the challenging part. It's the taking action that embodies this new idea, this new belief that you're going to apply to your life. And so what I'm going to ask myself now is, how can I embody the belief that money is flowing to me effortlessly? So imagine the version of you that believed that money flows to you effortlessly. How would she live life? What decisions would she make? Right? What would she be doing differently than what you're doing currently? Now, when we're talking about money, it gets kind of tricky because everyone's situation is different. We've all got different stories going on. We've all got different realities. But a very simple way that I first started to integrate this belief into my life was that when I would go to the grocery store, I would not look at the prices of anything I was buying. I would only buy the things I really wanted to buy for myself or for my family, and I wouldn't look at the price because that was something that I was not willing to sacrifice on, right? I want to buy myself, I want to buy my family nourishing food that I know is going to support us through the next day and through health and through life and all of that good stuff. So I'm not going to attach money to what I'm looking at here for health, because health is way more valuable than money. Hi guys, say hello as you join, ask questions as we go. Everything all about manifestation tonight, so it's going to be such a fun live. But yeah, so I would walk into the grocery store, I wouldn't look at the prices, and I would walk out knowing that I just bought the most nourishing food for my family, and that's all that mattered. That is something that someone who believes money flows effortlessly to them would do, in my mind, in my reality. That's what I would be doing, so therefore that's what I'm going to do. So that is how you can start to take action towards these limiting beliefs. Identify the belief, forgive the person who gave it to you, forgive yourself for believing it, know that everything is fine to let it go. Form your new belief that you know you need to have in order to reach your next goal. If your next goal is to go from a 1K month to a 5K month, or a 5K month to a 50K month, you have to step into the shoes of who that person is who's receiving whatever it is that you want, and you got to make choices and you got to think like them. So anytime we're talking limiting beliefs, you always want to be addressing the person who you want to be, the person that is receiving the things you want to receive. So a little bit of limiting beliefs there for you guys. If we've got more questions about limiting beliefs as we go, just let me know. If you guys have specific examples that you want to share with me that I can maybe coach through with you, totally happy to do that tonight. I'm here for a while. I've got a nice cup of tea with me, so I'm not going to run out of steam, I don't think. So getting back into the foundation of manifestation. Lisa says, money was something that I as well struggled with for a long time and created a crippling fear where every time I even thought about money or money-related items, I was experiencing paralyzing anxiety and just shut down. My current life coach mentioned to give forgiveness to myself for making mistakes and acknowledging that I was doing the best I could with what I had at the time. Does that make sense? Yes, that totally makes sense. As of late, after discovering this wonderful wonderful mindset work, have noticed a huge shift in how I feel, how I react, how I treat myself. Yes, oh my God, yes, Lisa, you just hit on such an important note. So, reaction, right? Guys, she just nailed it. We have a choice. Every time we experience, and this is where, just to preface this is where people are harping on about being present in your life. This is why it's important. When we are in the present moment, we have this insane magical space where we get to say, here's how I feel. How do I want to react? Right? We get to think about that moment before it ever happens. When you're in the present moment, you get to choose how you react. And this is where magic happens, because you get to choose to react in a way that makes you feel the way you want to feel, maybe not how you currently feel. So let me try to come up with, and it's the Caitlin and Lisa show. I love it, Lisa. Yes, let's do a podcast. I'm all about it, girl. Hi, Jade. Good to see you. Comment as you guys pop on. Let me know where in the world you are at. Ask questions as we go. Share stories. So we're talking about choosing to react, right? Choosing how we react. And we want to react in a way that embodies the person that we want to be and embodies the person who's receiving what we want to receive, is doing what we want to be doing. An example of this, let's say you are at Chipotle, right? I'm going to use a super, like, this is me, guys. You're at Chipotle and you got the tacos, and if you don't make it home within a certain period of time, the tacos get soggy and then they fall apart and then your whole day is ruined. Right? I don't really believe that, but that's what it feels like in the moment where someone's being a terrible driver and not letting me get home efficiently. But basically, what I'm getting at, As that in that moment when someone is stopping you from getting into the left-hand turn lane, or in that moment when someone is doing something that so is inconveniencing you, you have a choice. You get to react in the way your emotions are reacting, or you get to react in the way that you know next level you would react. You know it would make you feel on a higher it would make you feel a higher vibration. It would keep you in a happier place and a better headspace. You're not letting this person's ignorant driving ruin your vibration, ruin your mood, ruin your environment, right? This is where the magic of being present in the moment happens, right? And in order to be present, you have to quiet the mind. You cannot let monkey brain and monkey emotions take over everything that you're doing. Jade says, I love this reacting how next level you would react. Yes, absolutely. Girl, it changes your life. I promise. So getting into that a little bit more, let's talk about the 4 things that have to be in sync and on. Monkey brain is so real. Girl, you know it. And guys, you'll always have monkey brain. You just get better at identifying it and choosing not to follow it. There's 4 things that we have to have working together in synchronicity in order to manifest anything, right? Especially efficiently. I have notes written down here, guys, just because I don't want to totally get off on a ramble. So don't mind me as I look away. Promise I'm still paying attention to you guys. But basically, there's 4 things we have to get into synchronicity, and it's the physical action, our emotional action, mental action, and energetic action. So what do these look like, right? When we think about the physical body, the actions that the body is going to be taking in order to embody a next level you, and in order to embody a goal that you've set for yourself, right? So let's use money as the example here, because I feel like everyone can relate to that. When we are working on manifesting more money into our lives, and we're working on manifesting more abundance, period, think about how would your physical body feel, look, do, what would the physical body be doing if you were already making, say, 5K a month, 10K a month, 15K a month, whatever number it is, right? You need to start acting from that place today. So you don't wait until you've actually earned the 5K. You act as though it has already happened. And this is something that really threw me off when I first started getting into manifestation. And it was this idea that you had to embody the feeling as though it had already happened. But like, what the hell does that mean? Like, how am I supposed to embody the feeling like I have 10K if I can't go do the things that I want 10K to go do? Right? That was my limiting thought there. But all you have to do is start doing things with your body that makes sense for 5K you. So for me, that would be doing yoga every day. That would mean going to the beach at least 3 or 4 times a week. It would mean maybe going for a walk in the morning. It would mean waking up and stretching. It would mean giving myself the time to sleep that I need to sleep. What would you do for your physical body if you received, if you already had this thing that you want? Start acting from that place. Now let's talk about your mind, your mental clarity around what it is that you want. Let's roll with the number 5K, right? Hell yeah, girl, you know it. So you're making 5K every month. What would your mind feel like? What would your mind be doing? Would you be peaceful? Would it be at ease? Would you be planning your next move? Would you be planning your next business venture? What would your mind be busy, occupied doing? Your mind needs to start doing that today. Are you guys noticing a pattern? So get super clear on what 5K you, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest into your life. Get very clear on who that person is and what they would do from moment to moment every day within your reality today. Let's talk about emotional stuff here. So what would your emotional self be doing? What would your emotional self be feeling? Let's talk about paying bills. This was a huge game changer for me. When we are working on manifesting more money, imagine how you with more money would feel paying this small bill. Say it's a $100 bill for, I don't know, electricity or something. How would you feel when paying that bill? Would you feel anxiety? Would you feel like that bill's taking all your money? Would you feel like your bank account is now at such a low number that it's depressing and going to break your heart? How would you feel? Or would you feel like it's no big deal? It's just another bill. It's no big deal. Money flows to me easily, so why would I have a problem paying this bill? I love having electricity. I appreciate having electricity. It's totally worth $100, right? Change the way we emotionally react to things. Now, it's not going to be perfect. You might still get doubt creeping in. You're still going to have fear gremlins creeping in and trying to tell you you should be afraid of paying this bill because your bank account's about to hit zero. But like, lady friends, guy pals, I'm telling you the truth. You cannot stay in that mindset, bring more money in, and change anything about that situation, right? Love the way you're making this so practical. Yes, thank you, Jade, because I tell you what, this was what I needed when I was trying to learn manifestation, because everyone was telling me, just embody the feeling. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I was like a duck swimming in circles, not understanding how in the world I was ever going to apply the feeling as though it had already happened to anything in my life. So I'm glad this is making sense. Talking about paying bills and getting the emotion of like, this is no big deal. I can totally make this happen. Relax. Fear gremlins are still going to be there. Doubt is still going to be there. It takes time to really work through those guys, and they're not meant to be conquered. This is a big thing, guys, that I tried to do, and I'm so glad that I failed at. You cannot bulldoze your emotions. You can't ignore them. You have to invite them to sit down at a table with you and let them express what they're feeling, and then you take the power from those feelings and choose to let them leave. They do not have to define your actions. They do not have to define your future. They're there, and that's okay. Let them go. Let them be. Let them be there, because it doesn't matter. They hold no power over you. These feelings only hold power if you choose to react to them. Again, coming back to being present in the moment and understanding how vital it is to show up in your own life, right? So that's the emotional energy around things, and you can apply that to a lot. Like if you had kids, for example, I don't have kids, but I can imagine this being a case. If you have kids who don't want what you just cooked them for dinner, right? Because I get mad at my boyfriend when this happens. I can imagine it's worse with kids. If you cook your kids dinner and they're like, oh my God, I don't want this, I can't eat this, blah, right? Like they're complaining about the vegetables touching the potato or something, I don't know. And it's frustrating, and you're just like, eat it, just eat it. It makes no difference. Like, instead of reacting like that, you say, okay, honey, like, look, I just put so much love into this, blah, blah, blah. Shift the way you treat things emotionally. That might not have been the best example just because I don't have kids. It's kind of hard to relate to. But I think you understand where I'm going with this, is it change the way you emotionally react to things to keep yourself in this next level headspace of, if I was earning 5K, would I really care if my kids didn't want to eat the green beans and the potatoes? No, I wouldn't, because who the fuck cares, right? Like, you just make them what they want, or you just would do whatever it was that like they're asking, whether it's throw away food or buy new food or whatever it is. It wouldn't be that big of a deal if you had this next thing that you were wanting, right? Let's talk about energetic action. So this is more so what you're doing with your body and your mind and your emotions all put together, putting out into the world. So this is where intention can come into play a little bit. A lot of people struggle with the idea of like, I'm going to give this because I want to give this. But now that I know that I'm manifesting things, and by giving things, I receive things, oh my God, my intention's ruined. I'm doing this for a bad reason, right? Wrong, wrong, wrong. Slow down. Those are your gremlins speaking. That's fear speaking. That is not you yourself speaking. Forgive yourself for being so analytical. Forgive yourself for being so logical. The fact that you want to give, no matter what the reason behind it is amazing. Giving is a beautiful action that you have to do in order to receive. Now, if you have doubt and fear gremlins in the back of your mind saying you're only giving because you want to receive, you can tell them that it's okay because you deserve to receive. And if that means by giving you're going to receive more, then why is that a bad thing, right? We have this whole like martyr condition going on where everyone feels like they can't have an abundance of things because not everyone in the world has an abundance of things, and not everyone in the world has access to an abundance of money, and some realities are harsher than others, and blah, blah, blah. All this noise inside of our head trying to tell us that we have to stay small, trying to tell us that we have to play on the field that we're playing on currently, and that we're not allowed to grow exponentially larger and greater and more amazing and more abundance and more happy and more joy. Why not? Seriously, like if someone can give me one good reason as to why everyone in the world shouldn't start living up to the next level's expectations, I don't see the point in why we all shouldn't be reaching for more, right? Think of it like this, guys. I firmly believe that if your cup is not overflowing, you can't be of service to anybody because you're not your best self. How am I supposed to be in service to you if I haven't eaten my food today? Right? Like I'd be a grumpy biatch and no one would want to listen to me. How is a doctor supposed to be in service of their patients if they're not getting enough sleep? How is the home decorator supposed to be of service to the people who are paying her or him to decorate their home if she's not able to relax and rejuvenate and restore her creative energy? Right? We are all in better service to the world when we are allowing our cups to overflow, and there should be no guilt behind that because we are all worthy of a cup that is overflowing the minute we step onto this planet, the minute we are born, the minute creation had even conceived us. We are worthy of more and more and everything that we could ever desire. We're worthy of it, period. You don't have to do anything in order to deserve the life that you want to live. So that was kind of deep, I'm sorry. But pulling this back in, guys, we have the physical body, the mind, the emotional, and the energetic action. All of these actions need to be working in the same direction in order to manifest anything, right? So your reality currently is a direct reflection of everything that you have been manifesting for the past year, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 years, right? Everything that is within our reality we have created, or we have co-created is more or less what I like to say. That being said, identify the things that you don't like in your life. Ask yourself, what do I wish I had more of? What do I wish I had less of? Most people are going to say they want more money, they want less work, right? But let's go a little bit deeper than that. Why do you want more money? Why do you want to do less of the work that you're currently doing? And then that's where you get into the magic. It's more like, I want more money so that I can give my kids college. I want more money so that I can travel the world and experience more. I want more money because I want to be able to pay my electric bill without freaking out every month. Right? It usually comes to some deeper purpose, some deeper meaning that's going to allow us to be of better service to the world. And guys, you don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be in a service industry to be of service to the world. Picture this. Hi, Jelly. Thanks for joining in. Picture this, guys. If everyone would just fill up their own cup, if everyone took care of themselves and loved themselves so deeply, can you imagine the chain reaction, the ripple effect that would have on our neighbors? Just by me loving myself during the day and loving myself and respecting myself enough to be kind to myself, when my boyfriend comes home and he's had a rough day and he's not ready to give me attention or whatever, I can understand that. I can have empathy for that, and I can have room to allow him to have the space he needs and the attention he needs to feel better, right? You can then give other people the things that you're giving yourself. But if you're not giving them to yourself, you cannot give them to other people, period. If you're not loving yourself super fucking deeply, you can't love other people super fucking deeply. It just doesn't add up. Where is the energy supposed to come from? Jade says, what practice do you recommend around bringing those 4 aspects into alignment partnership? Yes, so this is a really good question. What I have all of my clients do the first time when we're starting to set goals, and guys, I have a live video on setting goals. It's live video number 1. It's on my freebies page on CaitlinBlack.com/freebies. It's the very first Facebook live video I ever posted up on there, and it goes through what I'm about to talk about in much more detail. So, the practice that I have women do, and men too, this totally works for you guys as well, I'm sure. Write down your ideal Monday. I want you to be as specific as possible. If your work week starts on like Wednesday, write down your ideal Wednesday. If it doesn't start till nighttime, write it down your ideal Monday night, right? Write down your ideal day of you doing work, of you being in service, of you doing what it is that fills up your cup. And then I want you to read through it. And be super specific, guys. I mean, the weather, the freaking color of your shirt. Be as specific as you can and as you would like to be. Lisa says, I've also found when I go negative, journaling it out helps me tremendously. State what you're feeling and set it free. Absolutely. Absolutely. Detach. So guys, after you have this ideal Monday shaped and you're looking at it and you're really feeling into it, I want you to read back through it, and anything that feels heavy, anything that feels hard or impossible, or anything that you have resistance to, I want you to ask yourself why. So for me, when I think I have an example in here that I might actually be able to pull up for you guys. I was writing down, actually, I might not have it in here. I think I might not. Yeah, we'll go off my, my memory. So probably about 6 to 10 months ago, I wrote down an ideal day in my life, and it looked something very similar to what I'm living now. And the things that I really had to overcome in order to manifest, in order to co-create, in order to step into, in order to be okay with living the life that I currently am living, is I had to A, believe I was worthy of it without proving myself first. And I, B, had to believe that I could do it by just being me, right? And those are two really big things that I had to conquer that felt very heavy and very impossible. And I had to ask myself, why does working at home for myself feel impossible? Why does that feel heavy? Who in my brain or who in my life told my brain that that was hard to do? And why did I believe them? What in my past reflected that being true? Okay, identified that. Now, for me to be the woman I want to be, working for herself independently from home online, what needs to change? What would I have to believe in order for that to become my truth, in order for me to believe that that's even possible? And that's where you can start to really get very clear on what it is you need to change. And then once you know what it is you need to change, you can create a goal. And then that, Jade, is where you can start to get into directing both, mind, body, emotional, mental, energetic energies in towards embodying that goal and embodying that new belief. But you got to do the foundation work first, where you get very clear on what's not serving you and what is, and getting very clear on what it is that you feel like is impossible and didn't even realize it. Jade, if you have any specific questions on that, let me know. Otherwise, it's pretty simple to bring them into partnership. It's more or less just giving yourself the space and the time necessary to shift into that. So I'm going to share something super vulnerable with you guys. When I was fabulous answer beauty, thanks, girl. You're welcome. A really key thing that I talk about frequently is environment. If you don't have the environment that's going to nurture you through this transition, you are going to have a lot of resistance, a lot more than necessary. And I say that from experience, because for 3 years, I tried to step into this place where I am in now, and it was nearly impossible until I surrounded myself with women and a coach who happened to be on that same page. And I'm not saying that that's what everybody needs to have. I'm not saying a coach is necessary for everybody. I'm not saying that it's some magical elixir. I'm not saying that I'm your answer by any means. But I am saying that if you are an empathetic person, if you are super sensitive to your environment, and if you lack support in your mind or in your body or in your soul, if you feel like you need more support in order to be successful, if you feel like you know that to be true for you, I highly recommend finding someone who is on your level, finding a group of women, a group of people who understand what it is you're reaching for and why, so you don't have to constantly justify it to yourself and therefore to others. The environment is so, so important to create in order to shift in during this transition. Now, for me, the time and the energy that it took to make this transition real was super, in my opinion, obnoxiously large. For me, I needed a month of not committing to anything else but my coaching business. I needed the time to sleep in, to make all the nourishing food, to do all the yoga, to be super quiet, to be still, to have days where I literally only do one thing that gives me a step forward in my business. But I needed the mental peace. I needed the moment to myself to just breathe and let myself be in my life long enough to understand what it was that was holding me back and how I needed to alchemize that into what I wanted. So that's going to look a little bit different for everybody. Not everyone needs to quit their jobs and be extreme and have a month of no one bothering them per se. But for me, that's what I needed. I needed the space, I needed the time, and I needed to lean into faith and trust myself enough to give myself that space to create something. So if you guys have any struggles around giving yourself time, giving yourself space, being kind to yourself in moments of rest and relax and surrender, let me know. I think that's a really, really important thing to talk about. It's definitely necessary when we're making transitions. But let's get back to manifestation. So as we direct these 4 forces into one direction, when we get very clear about our goals, about our limiting beliefs, and about the things that we need in order to develop into that next level self, this is where you can start to really work on getting quiet and directing your mindset into a cohesive direction. And what I mean by that is it's going the monkey brain, right? It's so easy to get so distracted, especially in today's world where we've got every distraction we could ever ask for right in front of us. So, how do I put this? The problem with most people, and the reason why they're not able to manifest the things that they want, is that they are unsure. Do I really want this? Is this really what I'm going to want in 10 years? Is this really going to work out for me? Do I really think I'll be able to make money doing this? Am I sure this is going to fill up my cup? Right? Like all these questions of being unsure with yourself. And this is where give yourself permission to relax into it, to feel it out, to try it out. Give yourself a month and just try it. See how it happens, right? I tried YouTube for about 6 weeks, maybe 3 months ago, and I'd always wanted to try it, right? I always thought like maybe that would be like my zone of genius. I could be a YouTuber. And I never let myself do it because I wasn't sure if I'd like it. I wasn't sure if I'd come off as professional enough. I wasn't sure if I was ready to do it. I wasn't sure if I'd stick with it, and I didn't want to like put it up there and then just drop off the face of the earth. But the reality of the situation is, guys, if you believe people are going to judge you off of that, then people will. And if you believe people are not going to judge you off of that, people won't. And I chose to believe that it wasn't going to matter whether I stuck with YouTube or not. Therefore, it didn't. I guarantee you not a single person watching this even knows that I had a YouTube channel. So it's not a big deal. Try things out. Give them a chance. Give yourself the chance to try things. Taste things. It's okay if you don't like them. You don't have to keep doing them. Right? So feel free to give yourself a chance to taste things and just see how things are feeling. Leave things that aren't serving you. Keep going with the things that are. Let's see. I want to talk about one thing that tends to come up with people who start to receive what they want. Once you get good at manifesting, you can pretty much manifest anything you want. You can manifest clients, you can manifest money, you can manifest whatever it is that you desire. Lisa says, I'm sorry to bombard the conversation. You're fine, girl. What is your best advice for silencing that little voice that says that's not true, or no, you won't, or that's not realistic when manifesting? That little voice in your head. Girl, that little voice can be big. I know it. I know it. I am really good friends with that little voice because everything that I have ever done in my life has gone against what that little voice says I could do. Here's the thing. You don't want to silence it. You don't want it to go away. You don't want to tell it that it's wrong or that it's not allowed to be there or that it shouldn't be there, because that's only going to add pressure to you to not be who you are at your core. Does that make sense? What I want you to do when this little voice comes up inside your head, I want you to sit down. I want you to write the things that are coming up in your head, or I want you to say the things out loud that you're thinking to yourself in your head. And then I want you to ask yourself, do I believe this? Is this true? And if you do believe it, ask yourself why. Go through the whole limiting belief thing. But if you don't believe it, then just say, okay, I hear you. You're funny. I'm better than that. I'm bigger than that. I'm more powerful than this thought, and let it be. I know this is hard. And like the words don't always do this thing justice. Because trust me, guys, I know how hard it is to surrender. I know how hard it is to find ease in these thoughts of like doubt and fear, and especially when you're putting things on the line. And I would say there's two things you could do. One, if you are a simple, faithful person, you believe in God, you believe in the universe, you believe in co-creation, you believe in angels, whatever it is that you believe in, if you believe in that without a doubt, and even with doubts in your mind, you don't necessarily question it, lean into your faith. Surrender into that. Let it be what it was meant to be. Surrender to it. Because basically all you guys have to do is believe that you have no true reason to doubt. Now let's say you're not a person of faith. You struggle with not questioning realness of the universe, right? Like if God came down right in front of you and said, I'm God, you'd be like, are you sure? Right? Like if that's you, don't try to force yourself into like a faith surrender thing, because it's not going to feel good for you. But commit to yourself. Tell yourself that, you know what? I believe that I'm going to show up for myself. I believe that I'm going to be able to do this because I want to do this. And then leave it at that. Surrender into that commitment. Both directions, it's just a commitment. It's saying yes to yourself. It's saying yes to the universe. It's saying yes, that this is going to happen because I want it to happen. And I'll figure it out along the way, right? You might not have all the answers, and it's probably not going to look good on paper. But you want to surrender into that commitment. And how do I put this into words? You guys have to believe that whatever it is you're trying to manifest can happen. You have to believe it's possible. So if you're walking into believing that it's impossible to create $1 million and you're trying to manifest $1 million, well, then you might as well shoot yourself in the foot, because like it just ruined the journey there. So surrendering into faith, surrendering into just believing that because you're showing up, because you're doing the action, you're listening to your gut, you're listening to your instincts, that is going to be all you need to make it happen, right? That's it. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And not putting restrictions on time. So time is a really complicated thing to talk about when we're talking about manifestation, because I do believe to a certain degree that it's important to create boundaries for what you are and are not available for, because especially if you're risking things on the line, I totally get like, I've got a deadline I got to meet. Let's meet it. But there's divine timing to everything. I want you guys to trust that if you're trying to manifest something and you're doing all the things and it feels good and you're staying in the headspace and you can't find any limiting beliefs and your coach can't find any limiting beliefs that could be holding you back, like, believe that there's divine timing behind it and be open to what the universe is giving you. There's something more that you could be getting out of a moment right then and there that is way more valuable, way more important than the thing that you're trying to manifest, and that's where you lean into commitment and faith. Does that make sense, Lisa? I know it's like probably not the answer you were hoping for. It's so abstract. But the more you practice this, the more you lean into it, the more you start to experience that surrender and that little bit of like a leap of faith, the clearer it's going to get. It really, truly is like an experience thing that you kind of have to go through. So moving forward, if life doesn't happen the way you think it should, this causes unhappiness. If life is happening the way you think it should, this causes happiness. So what I want you guys to realize is that by you trying to manifest something that does not align with the way you think life should be, it is not going to bring you happiness. Does that make sense? This was like a Lisa, absolutely no, it's perfect. Perfect, Lisa. Thank you. Ask me questions if you need more clarity on that topic if something comes up later. But basically, guys, what I see happening a lot of times is people try to mimic success. People look at Tony Robbins, or they look at, I don't know, Donald Trump, or someone who has accomplished something insanely big, right? Someone who has accomplished what we would define as success, or that we also feel is success. You cannot accomplish success. You will not feel happiness. You will not feel successful and fulfilled if you're not following your desires and what you believe life should feel like and what you believe life should look like. Does that make sense? It's kind of tough love. Sorry, but it's the truth. For years, I watched people find success. I studied people who were successful through my eyes, and I tried to mimic it. I tried to wake up at 5 a.m. I tried to have the morning routine. I tried to do the daily journaling. I tried to do yoga every day. I tried to take the courses, get the certifications, have the belt, and have the number by my name and I don't know the word for it. Like the just like the false labels of sorts, like the things that we attach to that create meaning for us, right? I tried to have those and attach to those instead of listening to myself. So rewind. About a year ago now, I signed up for a holistic nutritionist certification course because I went plant-based, I'm a vegan, and I wanted to help other people make that transition too. Before I got into freedom coaching, the success coaching niche that I'm in, I was a health coach, a wellness coach. And I took this certification not because it was going to legally get me anything or anywhere in Florida, because it wouldn't and it can't, but because I didn't believe that by reading the book, I would be taken seriously enough in my life to then give people this information. And I'm kind of forgetting where I was going with this. Oh, yes. But did I want to do that? No. Did that feel good? No. Was that how I wanted to invest my money or my time? No. So why did I do it? I did it because the other people that I saw being successful did that. And so I spent the $3,000 and I did it. And what did I learn? I didn't want to do it. And so what I'm getting at, guys, is that if you don't want to do something and you do want to do something else, there's a divine reason behind it. You are guided by your desires. Your desires are completely linked to your purpose. And if you ignore your desires, you are actively moving further and further and further away from your life's purpose. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with anybody? Because the minute I made those dots connect in my head, I was like, oh my God, life just got so much easier. Like, all I have to do is listen to myself. That's great. Like, Lisa says, I so wish in my past success I would have had the self-love go tell myself, girl, you're a rock star. You are amazing. Instead, I went with, okay, now you have to do this because you're not successful until X or making X. I should have basked in that success and celebrated. And I forgive myself for that. Yes, Lisa. Oh my God. Dream client right here. Lisa is totally right. And as much as we all wish we could go back in time and change things and like skip over the parts of our life that we wish we didn't have to experience, they're there for a reason. I used to struggle a lot with this idea of like, why the hell am I going through all of these things I'm going through right now as such a young woman? I mean, guys, I went through insane things that I never thought a young woman would ever have to go through. And the biggest one being like an identity crisis at 17. I quit dance. I born and raised a dancer, planning on being a dancer, always told my mom I was going to be a dancer. And one day I pretty much manifested. I gave myself this opportunity, opened the door for a $150,000 scholarship to Greer, an all-girls boarding school I was there for dance. And should have been impossible. On paper, it should have been impossible, but it wasn't. I didn't have the grades to go there. I didn't have the money to go there. I barely had the dance technique to go there, but I did it anyway because I believed I could, and I believed that that's what I was going to do. So it happened. But in experiencing that, I realized that I could be really successful at whatever I wanted to do. And after I was successful at dance and I realized that that wasn't necessarily the environment that best nourished me and nourished my soul and nourished all parts of me, I stepped away from it. And it was the scariest decision of my life because I could not tell anybody why I was doing it. I had no idea why I couldn't dance anymore. I just knew I couldn't. And when you grow up identifying as something, and then at 17, the year before, like my junior summer, I quit dancing and I completely gave up my identity. I was like this free for all of like, oh my God, what do I do now? Who am I? Right? Going through that and realizing that, look, I created that success for myself. I can go create that somewhere else was insane. And that has been the core foundation to everything that I've applied myself to in my life now, is that if you approach things in the right way and with the right belief system and with the right actions, you literally can do whatever you want, right? I'm not sitting here with like a PhD on my wall in psychology. I'm not sitting here with like 7 years of experience of like, I don't know, studying manifestation. like I'm just here sharing with you my mistakes and what I learned from them and how you do not have to make the same mistakes and you don't have to waste the same amount of time that I did in not doing what I wanted to do. Like we have this belief, we have this understanding that life has to be so hard, that success can't happen before you do A, B, C, and D. But the reality of the situation is we all define our own success and we all define our own reality within a means. I mean, like I said, we're not going to change gravity, I don't think. But like you can have influence over how you act and how you behave and how you choose to react to emotions, and it doesn't have to be hard. So hopefully that all made sense. I kind of got off on a tangent. If you guys are lost, let me know. I'm kind of lost. A lot of the stuff just kind of comes up, and I hope it makes sense. Cool. So we're getting to the end of my notes. So coming back into the whole happiness thing, I want you guys to get really honest with yourself. Don't ask your husband what makes them happy. Don't ask your kids what make them happy. Don't ask your mom what makes her happy. Ask yourself, what do you love? What makes you smile? What makes you want to get up? And like, if you could get up tomorrow morning and go do anything, what would you do? Like, just for fun. Money doesn't have to not exist in the equation, but like, what would you do? For me, I'd probably get up and have a glass of tea and maybe do some like journaling. I like what I do, you know what I mean? This is what makes me happy, so I'm going to do more of this, because then more of this equals more in my cup, which means more in y'all's cups. Like this beautiful cycle that the minute you start doing the things you want to do, everyone else gets to start doing what they want to do too. It's beautiful. But nonetheless, when you guys are making decisions about what your next step should be, what it needs to look like, stop looking outside of yourself. No one with success outside of you has the answers. I don't have the answers. You have the answers. You've got to spend time with yourself. You've got to be honest with yourself. What do you love? What do you not love? And then go from there. Like, you can go so easily into the future and create something so beautiful for yourself if you listen to yourself. Now, everyone has different limits. Right? Everyone has limiting beliefs. Everyone's always going to have a belief that they have to work with. Everyone always has reality working with that they have to work with, right? You can't necessarily go buy yourself or go invest in the $30,000 coach if you don't have $30,000 to do it with today, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't start behaving and taking action as though you do have the $30,000 to go invest. Right? You might not invest right away, but you're going to do literally everything else that you would be doing if you would have made that investment. Right? And it's scary because in the back of your mind, like Lisa and I had mentioned earlier, you still have fear gremlins saying, but what if this doesn't work? But what if this isn't it? But what if this is going to be a waste of money? But think about the opposite side of that. What if it does work? What if this is it? What if this isn't a waste of money? Like, seriously, what else do you have to lose? What's worth it? What would you rather gamble with? Wasting money or wasting your purpose, wasting your time, wasting your life? And it's kind of a tough conversation to have because, like, I don't want to come into someone's life and tell them that they're not living it well or that they could be doing more for themselves, right? Like, I always think about the people who are in extreme poverty and just don't have the opportunities that I have. Just don't have the doors being opened for them that I've got or that you've got, right? There's people out there who do not have these opportunities, but here's how we get to help that. When we allow ourselves to step up to that next level, when we open our own doors, everyone else who doesn't have the strength, who doesn't have that ability to open their own doors, gets the benefit. They get the ripple effect. They get the cup overflowing effect. The minute we all start taking care of ourselves, the minute we all start doing things that make us happy and that fill our souls, and that when we start functioning from that place of like, I deserve to feel this, I'm worthy of being this, then everyone else around us gets that effect. Suddenly people become empowered. Suddenly we don't have people spending money on things that aren't going to help them. Suddenly we have people listening to the thing inside them that was meant to guide them into their purpose and into their destiny and help fill their cup. Does that make sense? I know that is such a hot and heavy subject. Don't mean for it to get so serious, guys. But it's an inspiring topic. It's the most powerful thing any of us can do is taking care of ourselves, is listening to ourselves, is respecting ourselves, is loving ourselves. Okay, so where does doubt come from? I think this will be the thing that we kind of wrap this up with since I've been talking for an hour now. Sometimes I really impress myself with my ability to just keep talking. I should totally have a podcast because I'd be great at hosting it. So where does doubt come from? Doubt comes from the past. I think I was listening to a YouTube video kind of talking about very similar things here within the manifestation world, and it said that, you know, if I asked you if you could fly, you would say no. and I asked you if you could stand up, you would probably say yes. And why is that? It's because in all your life here on earth, you've never been able to fly. And every time you've tried to stand up, hopefully you've been able to stand up. So it's based off of the past. It's based off of what we know from the past and what we've experienced from the past. So doubt comes into your head, not because you're wrong or because you're irresponsible or because you're unrealistic, but because the past just hasn't mirrored what you're asking for in the future. And if you're moving forward, it shouldn't. Right? We should always be working towards that next level of joy, that next level of bliss, getting to the point where we can share so much with others that no one has an empty pocket, right, per se. I don't know if that's actually how it's going to work, but it would be ideal. So, doubt, Monica says, keep talking, girl. We are loving every word. Oh, God, thanks, Monica. When doubt comes up, don't judge it. Don't judge yourself. It's not your fault. It's not a weakness. It's not something that you've got to get over. It's just natural. It's this reflection of your future, what you're trying to create, isn't going to match your past, and that's great. Like, by all means, think about it, guys. How many of us want our past to come back in the future? Like, if I have to deal with any of the things that I've already conquered in the past, I am not going to be happy. So I'm totally cool with doubt telling me that I'm on the right track to moving forward. That's all doubt is. None of these negative emotions have to hold power over us. None of these negative emotions have to sway our decisions. Now, fear exists for a reason, right? We don't want to throw ourselves off a cliff because we don't want to do that to ourselves, but we're smart. And women, we've got so much intuition. Men, I'm sure you guys do too, but like totally can't speak from your perspective. Fill me in as we go. Let me know your perspective here. But as women, as a woman, I know my intuition guides me. I feel it all the time. When I'm thinking, oh my God, it's almost the end of the month and I haven't signed enough clients, maybe I should think about getting another job, right? That fear is real. But then I sit down, I look at my goals, I look at my limiting beliefs that I am actively embodying new beliefs of, and I say to myself, there's no reason to worry. I'm doing all the work. I'm showing up. I'm working in a directional, intentional manner. So why wouldn't it work? It's a logic game, guys. You're tricking your monkey brain into believing your spiritual brain. Does that make sense? Like, we're manipulating time and space to work the way we want it to work for us effortlessly, with ease, as long as we can tell God, I sound crazy. As long as we can tell the monkey brain to chill out and trust, fam, it's going to be okay, right? And it sounds easy. I know it can sound so oversimplified, and that's something that I was so frustrated with for so long when people would talk to me about manifesting your reality. I used to intentionally never use the word manifest because it pissed me off so bad about how people talked about how easy it was to just change your life, and how I apparently just didn't get it but I just needed a more realistic, logical approach. I needed to trick my monkey brain into getting on board with what I saw as being possible in the future. It's all about environment. Once you can get super clear on your direction, once you get super clear on your goals, once you get super clear on what it is that fills up your cup, it's all about environment. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you have people questioning you 24/7, or do you have people lifting you up and listening to you? Right? And guys, this is where I so firmly believe in coaching. If you can find a coach who is more than on your level, she's like experienced your level and then gone above, that is who you're looking to work for. My ideal client, I am constantly looking to bring in people who are just a few steps behind me, because I want to give them what is fresh and what is real and what I'm experiencing just a few months ahead of them, because that's what's powerful. I'm not trying to teach people what worked 10 years ago. I'm not trying to teach people what's going to work 3 years from now, because I don't know. I do know what worked for me 4 months ago, and I know that life isn't that different from 4 months ago. So that's what I give people. That's what coaches give people. We create an environment. Instagram, just so you guys know, the live video is about to end, but I will restart it. So don't go anywhere. I've got like 50 seconds remaining on this live, and then I'll be back. We won't be here too much longer though, guys, if you don't want to be. I know it's been an hour. So yeah, doubt comes from the past, and fear comes from your reptilian brain, your monkey mind, trying to say, don't do that, that's scary, that threatens the stability that you kind of have now. And it's okay to work through that. It's okay to acknowledge that, let it go to the side, and then come back to it. Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and end you guys, and I'll be right back. Sorry guys, this is like so annoying. I didn't realize that this was going to happen. I've never gone live for an hour before. Okay, let's see. Cool, Instagram, I'm back. Thanks for being patient. Cool guys, so I want to wrap this up because it has been an hour, and I want to give you guys a chance to ask questions. So if you guys are totally done with watching and don't have any questions, sayonara. It was great talking to you guys tonight. If you want to hang out, ask some questions, get some coaching done, I'm totally in the zone right now and so ready to like be here and hold space for you. So let me know if you guys have questions. I'm actually going to get some tea while I'm waiting. Whew. And then in the meantime, while you guys are coming up with some questions and getting them up on Facebook and Instagram, just to talk about it, I have a mastermind coming up. We start on Monday, the 22nd. This is a 4-person mastermind. I designed this, it's called Divine Timing Mastermind, and I designed it to be intimate. It is meant so that I can get one-on-one, hands-on action with your dreams, your desires, your reality, and we can actively shift through limiting beliefs, create new ones, and get serious action steps down on paper that you can, what's the word I'm looking for, execute in your own way. So ideally, I'm looking for women who want to start working online, who are in a very soulful state, who have an entrepreneur essence to them, who are ready to be their own boss, who are ready to make way more money than they're currently making, who are ready to help way more people than they're currently helping. I'm looking for the woman who feels called to be of service with whatever it is she has to offer. So we've got 3 spots left. I had one woman sign up already, and we only have 3 left. And I know, I can feel that people are out there waiting to sign up and are kind of nervous. So I've gone ahead and offered whoever would like a free clarity call around talking about Divine Timing Mastermind and getting super clear on what it is that you're trying to do in your life, and if this mastermind would be a good fit for you, or if I would be a good fit for you, kind of thing. So no strings attached there. If anyone here is interested, whether you're watching the replay or you're on live currently, if you're interested in securing one of those clarity calls, I have a few more left for this week that I can book. My schedule is pretty flexible. And on top of that, I have offered basically like a scholarship opportunity. So for any of you who are super interested in participating in Divine Timing Mastermind, you've gone to my webpage about it, you've clicked on purchase, and then you hesitated at the investment, I am offering basically a scholarship opportunity where basically DM me, let me know that you're super interested in Divine Timing Mastermind and that you'd like an application. Because basically, guys, I have an application that is designed to let me get to know you a lot better. I want to know things like, what are your goals for this mastermind? What are you actively trying to manifest? What is it that is bringing you here? Why are you passionate? What is it that you're trying to do? Kind of gives me an inside look into your brain a little bit. And as long as I feel that you are inspired and ready and have enough inner fire to show up fully without having to make the full investment, I'm offering more than 50% off of the entire program. So if that is for you, send me a DM. Let's totally talk. I've got clarity calls. I almost said consultation calls. I have clarity calls available for you guys to utilize as well if you're a little nervous about jumping straight in and just want to kind of talk one-on-one a little bit more about the program. But I'm not seeing any questions pop up. So if that's it for tonight, guys, have a beautiful evening. If you do have questions come up as you guys are journaling and going over this big 1 hour long video, send me a DM. Let me know your questions. I'm always here to help. Don't ever be afraid to ask questions with me. I am so totally here to be of service to you guys. So thanks for sticking around. Have a beautiful Wednesday night and have a great rest of your week, guys. I'll post this live up on my website on CaitlinBlack.com/freebies. It'll be the most recent one listed at the top. And if you're interested in watching more about the one that I spoke about earlier, you're going to want to watch, I believe I called it something about 6 steps to setting and accomplishing boss babe goals. It's live talk #1 at the very bottom of my freebies page on my website, CaitlinBlack.com. So, all right, guys, have a beautiful evening. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for coming. Thank you for all your questions. Oh my God, you're like a dream come true on a live talk. Giving me questions is like the best. So thanks, guys, and have a beautiful evening. We'll see you later.